The Tropical Oils War. At this point, you may be asking, if coconut oil is as good as you say it is, why has it had such a bad reputation? The simple reason is money, politics, and misunderstanding. Everybody knows coconut oil is a saturated fat, and we're constantly told to reduce our saturated fat intake. The words saturated fat have become almost synonymous with heart disease. Very few people know the difference between the medium chain saturated fatty acids in coconut oil and the long chain saturated fatty acids in meats and other foods. To most people, saturated fat is saturated fat, an evil substance lurking in foods waiting for the opportunity to attack and strike you down with a heart attack. Even medical professionals don't know there is a difference. Most don't even know there is more than one type of saturated fat. The different types are discussed in the next chapter. Unfortunately, many healthcare workers and health and fitness writers only repeat what they hear and have no understanding of fats and how they affect the body. Only recently has the truth about coconut oil been reemerging. As far back as the 1950s, research began to show the health benefits of coconut oil. For many years, it was considered a good oil with many nutritional uses. So how did coconut oil become a despised artery-clogging villain? Much credit goes to the American Soybean Association, ASA. It began in the mid-1980s. At the time, the media were stirred away into a frenzy, warning the public about a newly discovered health threat: tropical oils. Coconut oil, they proclaimed, was a saturated fat and would cause heart attacks. Everywhere you turned, any product that contained coconut or palm oil was criticized as being unhealthful. In response to the seemingly overwhelming public response, movie theaters began cooking their popcorn in soybean oil. Food makers began switching from tropical oils they had used for years to soybean oil. Restaurants stopped using tropical oils in favor of soybean and other vegetable oils. By the early 1990s, the tropical oils market had dwindled to a fraction of what it once was. The promoters of this media blitz declared a victory in their fight against tropical oils. This war of oils, unfortunately, made every man, woman, and child in America and elsewhere its victim. Tragically, the oil that replaced the coconut and palm oils was hydrogenated vegetable oil, principally from soybeans. One of the most health-damaging dietary oils in existence, and the only people who actually benefited from this new health craze were those in the soybean industry. These hydrogenated replacements contained as much saturated fat as the tropical oils, but they are not made from easily digested medium chain fatty acid like those found in coconut oil. They are composed of toxins, trans fatty acids. The result has been to replace healthy tropical oils with some very nasty chemically altered vegetable oils. We are all victims because when we eat foods containing these oils, our health suffers. The entire campaign was a carefully orchestrated plan by the ASA to eliminate competition from imported tropical oils. During the 1960s and 1970s, research indicated that some forms of saturated fat increase blood cholesterol. Since elevated cholesterol is recognized as a risk factor in the development of heart disease, saturated fat was, consequently, regarded as an undesirable food component, and we were advised to reduce our intake of it. The prevailing opinion was that the less saturated fat you ate, the better. Capitalizing on the public's growing fear of saturated fat and its perceived association with heart disease, the ASA set out to create a health crisis. The crisis they planned would be so terrifying that it would literally scare people away from using tropical oils. In 1986, the ASA sent a fat fighter kit to soybean farmers, encouraging them to write government officials, food companies, and so on, protesting the enrichment of highly saturated tropical fats like palm and coconut oils. The wives and families of some 400,000 soybean growers were encouraged to fan out across the country in lobbying efforts touting the health benefits of soybean oil, with no proof. Well meaning but misguided health groups such as Center for Science in the Public Interest, CSPI, joined the battle, issuing news releases referring to palm, coconut, and palm kernel oil as artery clogging fats. The CSPI, a nonprofit consumer activist group, had been criticizing saturated fats since its founding in the 1970s. Like most nutrition advocates at the time, they mistakenly believed that all saturated fats were the same and attacked them with a vengeance. Encouraged by the publicity generated by the ASA, they began to intensify their attack. The tropical oils, being highly saturated, were severely criticized in their promotional literature, news releases, and lobby efforts. It seemed the CSPI considered saturated fat to be the worst evil ever to beset humankind. The ASA had found a powerful vocal ally in its campaign to take over the tropical oils market. For a group that claimed to be an advocate for responsible nutritional education, the CSPI was surprisingly ignorant regarding saturated fats, especially concerning coconut oil. Instead of informing the public about the truth regarding saturated fats, they only succeeded in strengthening misconceptions and falsehoods. The CSPI's lack of knowledge concerning lipid biochemistry is revealed in a booklet they published called Saturated Fat Attack. While lay people and many healthcare professionals may have been fooled by the information in this booklet, nutritional biochemist Mary E. Enig, PhD, says there were lots of substantive mistakes in the booklet, including errors in the description of the biochemistry of fats and oils, completely erroneous statements about fat and oil composition of many products. Most people, however, would not have known this, and the booklet and other inaccurate information distributed by the group succeeded in convincing many people to completely shun tropical oils. The CSPI's lack of accurate scientific knowledge made them an unsuspecting puppet for the ASA. In October 1988, Nebraska millionaire Bill Sokoloff, a recovered heart attack patient and founder of the National Heart Savers Association, jumped on the media bandwagon. He began running full-page newspaper advertisements accusing food companies of poisoning America by using tropical oils with high levels of saturated fat. Radically anti-saturated fat, he staged a blistering national ad campaign attacking tropical oils as a health danger. One ad showed a coconut bomb with a lighted wick and cautioned consumers that their health was threatened by coconut and palm oils. Before long, everybody believed that coconut oil caused heart disease. Food manufacturers joined in too. Hoping to profit from the anti-tropicals sentiment, they tried to add labels to their products that read, "Contains no tropical oil." The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, ruled such labels illegal because the statement implied a health claim, which portrayed the product as being better for not having tropical oil, and there was no evidence to back it up.